My precious chosen one, congratulations. Yes, you heard it right. Heaven itself is celebrating your name at this very moment. This is not a random message. This is not an accident. And it is definitely not a coincidence that you are hearing these words right now. God says, you'll be very happy tonight because I am giving you that one thing. But listen carefully. You must open your heart before 11:55 p.m. tonight, or you may miss the very door I am unlocking for you. There are moments in life that come once in a lifetime. Moments that divide your past from your future. This is one of those sacred moments. The clock is not just ticking, it is aligning. And heaven is moving with precision. Right now, in the unseen realm, Archangel Michael is standing guard over your destiny. His sword is not raised in fear, it is raised in protection. Because what God is releasing to you tonight is something the enemy tried to delay for years. That one thing you have cried about in silence. That one breakthrough you thought was impossible. That one answer you stopped praying for because you were tired of waiting. God says, I saw every tear. I counted every sigh. I recorded every prayer you whispered at night when no one was watching. And tonight, before 11:55 p.m., something shifts. You may be asking, what is that one thing? Is it love? Is it financial relief? Is it peace? Is it restoration? Is it clarity? God is smiling because He knows exactly what your heart has been longing for, even the desire you never told anyone about. But here is the mystery. The blessing is already prepared. The key factor is your readiness. Archangel Michael is declaring, prepare your spirit. Remove doubt. Silence fear. Do not scroll away from destiny. Because doubt can delay what faith can unlock in seconds. There is a spiritual window opening tonight. A narrow one. Not to scare you, but to awaken you. Many people pray for miracles, but when the miracle stands at the door, they are distracted. They hesitate. They question. They overthink. Do not overthink this moment. God says, I am giving you that one thing. Notice He did not say, I might. He did not say, if everything goes perfectly. He said, I am giving. It is a decision already made in heaven. Why tonight? Why before 11:55 p.m.? Because timing matters in the spirit. There are divine appointments written in your life story. And this is one of them. Something about tonight carries completion energy. Something about this hour carries fulfillment. The waiting season is expiring. For some of you, this is about a relationship that felt broken beyond repair. For others, this is about a financial door that seemed permanently closed. For someone listening, this is about emotional peace, the kind that money cannot buy. And for a few of you, this is about a calling you tried to ignore but can no longer escape. Archangel Michael is whispering, stand firm. Do not retreat now. You are closer than you think. If you feel goosebumps right now, that is confirmation. If your heart is beating faster, that is not random. Your spirit recognizes truth before your mind understands it. But here is the warning. Do not delay your response. Heaven moves in partnership. God initiates. You respond. That response can be as simple as faith. As simple as saying, I receive. As simple as opening your heart fully before this night ends. There are people who will ignore this. There are people who will scroll away and laugh. But you are still here. And that means something. This message found you because you are not ordinary. You are marked for divine joy. And tonight, happiness will not be fake or temporary. It will be real, tangible, noticeable. God says, I am restoring what you thought was lost. And when 11:55 p.m. comes, you will realize this was the turning point. The moment heaven leaned down and touched your life. So take a deep breath right now. Release fear. Release doubt. Release the memory of past disappointments. Because tonight, before the clock reaches that sacred minute, something beautiful is entering your life. And this is only the beginning of what heaven is about to reveal. Beloved soul, something is happening behind the scenes that you cannot yet see, but you can definitely feel. Since you heard the promise that tonight carries your happiness, your spirit has been alert. There is a stirring in your chest, a quiet expectation building up, and that is not imagination. That is alignment. God is not a man that he should speak casually. When he says, you'll be very happy tonight because I am giving you that one thing, it means the release has already been approved in the courts of heaven. But listen carefully. The blessing is not just about receiving something external. It is about becoming someone internally ready to hold it. Many people ask for increase, but few prepare their mindset for it. Many cry for restoration, but still rehearse the pain of betrayal in their thoughts. Tonight is not only about what God is giving you. It is about what you are willing to release before 11:55 p.m. Archangel Michael stands as a warrior over your transition. His presence is not symbolic, it is strategic. There has been silent opposition around your one thing. Delays, distractions, emotional confusion, unexpected setbacks. You wondered why it felt so hard. Why every time you got close, something pushed you back. Now you understand. What is valuable is always contested. But here is the shift. The resistance is weakening. You may have noticed strange changes recently. Certain people pulling away. Certain doors closing without explanation. Certain plans collapsing unexpectedly. Do not panic. Those are not losses. Those were preparations. God was clearing space for the one thing he is about to place in your hands. And this is why you cannot treat tonight casually. Before 11:55 p.m., your posture matters. Your words matter. Your focus matters. If fear whispers, what if nothing happens? Answer it with faith. If doubt says, you've been disappointed before, respond with trust. This time is different because the timing is divine. Archangel Michael is declaring courage over you right now. Courage to believe again. Courage to accept again. Courage to open your heart fully again. Because sometimes the greatest miracle is not the blessing itself, but the restoration of your ability to hope. Some of you stopped hoping. You became practical, logical, guarded. You told yourself, if it happens, it happens. But deep inside, you were protecting your heart from another letdown. God sees that protective wall, and tonight, he is gently asking you to lower it. The one thing he is giving you will not bring stress. It will not bring confusion. It will bring clarity and joy. A happiness that feels stable, not temporary. Right now, I want you to pause and think about what your heart truly wants. Not what others expect from you. Not what society says you should desire. But the one thing that would make you say, finally. That is the area heaven is touching. And let me tell you something important. The fact that you are still watching, still listening, still absorbing this message means your spirit recognizes its weight. This is not entertainment. This is confirmation. If this message is already speaking to you, take a moment to support this movement of faith. Like this video so more chosen ones can encounter this word before their midnight hour. Share it with someone who has been praying in silence. Comment your expectation below as a declaration. Subscribe to this channel and become part of a community that refuses to give up on God's promises. When you engage, you are not boosting an algorithm. You are helping a divine message travel further than you can imagine. And as you do that, keep your heart steady. Because what is about to unfold next will explain why tonight's timing is not random at all. There is a deeper reason connected to your past prayers, your present obedience, and your future calling. The next revelation ties everything together in a way you did not expect. Hold that anticipation. You will want to hear what comes next. Chosen vessel of God, the reason tonight carries such weight is because this is not only about a gift, it is about divine completion. There has been a cycle in your life that has repeated itself for too long. The same disappointment wearing different faces. The same delay appearing in different forms. The same hope rising and falling like a tide. But heaven is declaring that this pattern is breaking before 11:55 p.m. God says, I am not just giving you something. I am closing what tried to exhaust you. You have been in a hidden battle. People saw your smile, but they did not see the questions you asked God in private. They did not hear the prayers you whispered when you felt overlooked. They did not understand how many times you almost gave up but chose to keep believing. That perseverance is the reason tonight is marked in your destiny. Archangel Michael hath been assigned to guard this transition. There were unseen forces attempting to convince you that your one thing would never arrive. Thoughts like maybe it's not meant for me, or maybe I should settle for less. But those whispers were not truth. They were tests, and you passed them by simply holding on. Now listen carefully. The happiness coming tonight is not random excitement. It is alignment meeting manifestation. Something you once prayed for is about to feel reachable. For some of you, this will show up as a message, a call, an opportunity, or a sudden internal peace that confirms everything is shifting. For others, it will begin quietly, like a door unlocking in the spiritual realm that will soon open physically. Do not underestimate subtle beginnings. God often starts with a seed before revealing the harvest. Before 11:55 p.m., posture yourself in gratitude, not anxiety. Gratitude accelerates what anxiety delays. Instead of asking when will it happen, begin saying, thank you for already doing it. That shift in language moves mountains faster than frustration ever could. Archangel Michael is declaring strength over your mind right now. Because the final moments before a breakthrough often feel like silence. And silence can make you doubt. But silence does not mean absence. It often means orchestration. There are details being arranged that you could never manage on your own. Conversations being influenced. Decisions being softened. Hearts being prepared. Doors being unlocked. And all of it is aligning with the promise spoken over you. You may not see fireworks at 11:55 p.m., but you will sense something undeniable. A confirmation. A peace. A knowing that the tide has turned. And when it does, do not brush it off as coincidence. God says, this is the night you will remember as the turning point. If this message resonates deeply within you, seal it with faith. Type I receive my one thing in the comments if this is speaking directly to your spirit. Blessing code 1155 is now activated over your life. And as this sacred moment settles in your heart, understand something powerful. When you respond in faith, you participate in the miracle. Your agreement with heaven releases acceleration. Now hear this clearly. This message is not just for your happiness. It is part of a larger mission. When God blesses you, It becomes a testimony that strengthens others. Your breakthrough becomes someone else's proof that miracles still happen. Your joy becomes light in someone else's darkness. If this word has been touching your soul, this is the moment to act prophetically. Sow into the mission that carries messages like this to hearts across the world. When you give through Super Thanks, join the membership, or sow through the PayPal link in the description, you are not supporting a channel. You are fueling a river of hope. Scripture declares, "Give, and it will be given to you. Pressed down, shaken together, running over." Hear it as God speaking directly to you right now. As you release your seed, heaven releases increase. As you open your hand, God opens doors. Let your giving tonight be an act of alignment with the very blessing you are receiving. Do not hesitate when the Spirit prompts you. Move in obedience and watch how quickly provision flows back to you. This is sacred timing. This is divine alignment. And tonight, before 11:55 p.m., you will feel the shift. The story is not ending here. Something even deeper is about to unfold. Faithful heart, what you are stepping into tonight is not just a moment of happiness. It is the unveiling of something that has been forming for a long time. You thought heaven was silent. You thought your prayers were placed on hold. But what felt like delay was actually development. God was not denying you. He was designing the perfect timing. When God says, "You'll be very happy tonight because I am giving you that one thing," it carries layers. The surface layer is joy. The deeper layer is restoration. And the deepest layer is transformation. Because the one thing you are about to receive will not only change your circumstances, it will change your confidence. For too long you questioned whether you were truly favored. You saw others receive blessings and wondered if your name was still on heaven's list. You smiled publicly but wrestled privately. Yet even in your questioning, you never fully walked away. That quiet loyalty moved the heart of God. Archangel Michael has been standing at the border of your breakthrough season, not just protecting you from external opposition, but shielding your mind from internal sabotage. The greatest battle recently was not around you, it was within you. Thoughts of unworthiness, fear of disappointment, the temptation to settle for something smaller than what you truly desired. But settling is not your portion. Tonight represents a divine correction, a restoration of spiritual balance. Something that was delayed is now being released. Something that was withheld is now being handed over. And something that looked uncertain is becoming clear. You may notice that your emotions feel intense right now. A mix of excitement and nervousness, anticipation and caution. That is natural when you are on the edge of change. Your spirit senses movement before your eyes see evidence. Before 11:55 p.m., guard your atmosphere carefully. Do not entertain negativity. Do not revisit old conversations that reopen wounds. Do not scroll into spaces that drain your faith. Protect this hour like it is sacred because it is. God is aligning details that you cannot manipulate. He is positioning people you cannot persuade. He is orchestrating outcomes you could never calculate. And the beauty of it is this: you do not have to force anything. The pressure is not on you to perform. The responsibility is not on you to control. Your role is to believe and remain open. There is also something important you must understand. The one thing you are receiving tonight is connected to your obedience in past seasons. There were moments when doing the right thing cost you comfort. There were times you chose integrity even when compromise looked easier. There were days you stayed silent instead of reacting. Those unseen decisions accumulated in heaven. Now the return is arriving. Archangel Michael is declaring victory over your patience. You endured longer than most would have. You trusted when evidence was scarce. You held on to promises when circumstances contradicted them. That endurance has reached its reward point. If what you receive tonight comes quietly, do not dismiss it. Sometimes the greatest blessings enter gently. A message then changes direction. A sudden clarity about what step to take. An unexpected peace that replaces anxiety. Or a tangible opportunity that feels perfectly timed. And when it happens, do not minimize it. Do not say, "It's probably nothing." Recognize it for what it is, divine confirmation. There is also a deeper spiritual shift occurring. Your mindset is elevating. You are no longer begging for scraps of hope. You are stepping into confidence. The version of you that wakes up tomorrow will not carry the same heaviness as yesterday. Because once God gives you that one thing, something inside you unlocks permanently. You begin to believe differently. You pray differently. You expect differently. And here is a quiet truth. This blessing is not the end goal. It is the beginning of a new chapter. What happens tonight is a seed of a greater harvest, a preview of a larger expansion. But heaven needed to show you that promises still come to pass, that joy still arrives, that waiting seasons do not last forever. As the clock moves closer to that sacred minute, breathe deeply. Release control. Release timelines. Release fear. Archangel Michael stands as a witness that your breakthrough is not fragile. It is secure, protected, assigned. And when you look back at this night, you will remember the anticipation. You will remember the stirring in your spirit. And you will say, that was the moment everything began to change. Prepare your heart. The next revelation will uncover why this blessing connects to something even greater than your current desire. Anointed listener, there is something even deeper about tonight that you must understand. The happiness God is releasing is not isolated. It is connected to a chain reaction that will begin the moment you accept it fully. The one thing you are receiving is not just an answer to a prayer. It is a divine signal that your season has officially changed. For a long time, you have been in what felt like a preparation phase. You were learning lessons you did not ask for. You were developing strength you did not realize you needed. You were shedding attachments that once felt permanent. And while it felt uncomfortable, even unfair at times, it was necessary. Because the blessing you are about to hold requires a stronger version of you. God says, I could have given it to you earlier, but you would not have recognized its value. That statement may challenge you, but it carries truth. Earlier, you were still doubting your worth. Earlier, you were still tied emotionally to outcomes that were not aligned with your destiny. Earlier, you might have mishandled what was meant to elevate you. Now you are different. You have matured through disappointment. You have grown through silence. You have learned patience through waiting. And heaven never wastes growth. Every tear shaped your character. Every delay refined your expectations. Every closed door sharpened your discernment. Archangel Michael hath been observing this transformation, not from a distance but actively guarding your process. There were moments when frustration almost pulled you away from faith. There were days when you questioned if continuing to believe made sense. Yet somehow, even when your prayers were short and tired, you kept speaking to God. That consistency has power. Tonight is not just about happiness. It is about validation. It is heaven confirming that your loyalty was seen, that your obedience was recorded, that your quiet endurance mattered. The one thing you are receiving will feel different from past opportunities. It will not carry confusion. It will not require you to shrink yourself. It will not demand that you compromise your peace. Instead, it will align smoothly with who you have become. Pay attention to that feeling of ease. Divine blessings often arrive without chaos attached. As the hours move closer to 11:55 p.m., you may sense a strange calm settling over you. That calm is not boredom. It is preparation. It is the kind of peace that comes before a significant shift, like the stillness in the air before a sunrise. The light is about to appear, but here is something vital. Do not allow old fears to speak in these final moments. When breakthrough approaches, the mind sometimes replays past failures, memories of times you hoped and were disappointed. Thoughts like, "What if I get my expectations up again?" Recognize those thoughts as echoes of an expired season. This is not that season. God is not repeating your past. He is rewriting your future. Archangel Michael is declaring authority over your thoughts right now. Any voice that tells you to expect less is not aligned with heaven's announcement. You are not meant to brace for disappointment. You are meant to brace for joy. And let this sink in deeply. The happiness arriving tonight may not look exactly how you imagined, but it will fulfill the core desire behind your prayer. Sometimes we pray for a specific form, but God delivers the essence in a better package. For example, you may have asked for a specific opportunity, but what comes is something greater that fits you better. You may have prayed for one person, but what arrives is someone who truly values you. You may have begged for financial relief, but what unfolds is a new pathway that secures long-term stability. Trust the form in which the blessing arrives, because God does not miscalculate. There is also a spiritual activation happening within you. Once you receive this one thing, your faith capacity expands. You will no longer pray from desperation. You will pray from expectation. You will no longer see yourself as overlooked. You will see yourself as chosen. And that shift will influence every area of your life. Tonight is a doorway. Step through it without hesitation. Receive without guilt. Accept without suspicion. You have waited long enough, and what unfolds next will show you that this moment was not just about personal joy. It is connected to a larger assignment that is about to unfold in ways you never anticipated. Steadfast soul, as this sacred night draws closer to its appointed minute, there is a truth you must grasp with clarity. The reason this blessing has weight is because it carries confirmation. Confirmation that you were never forgotten. Confirmation that your name was always written into this outcome. Confirmation that heaven's timing is never late, only precise. For months, maybe even years, you lived in tension between promise and reality. You heard words of hope, but your environment told a different story. You believe it, but circumstances tried to convince you otherwise. The tension shaped you. It carved resilience into your spirit. It taught you how to stand even when answers were delayed. Now the standing season is ending. The receiving season is beginning. God says, "Tonight you will see evidence that I was working all along." That evidence may not explode dramatically. It may come like a key turning quietly in a lock. But you will feel it. You will know it. Something inside you will whisper, "This is it." Archangel Michael has been positioned at the intersection of your fear and your faith. Every time fear attempted to dominate your thoughts, divine protection intercepted it. There were unseen battles where discouragement almost convinced you to withdraw completely. Yet somehow you held on. Even when your prayers felt weak, they were still heard. You must understand something powerful. The one thing being released tonight is not random generosity. It is the fruit of accumulated faith. Faith is never wasted. Every time you chose trust over panic, something shifted in the spiritual realm. Every time you resisted the urge to give up, you strengthened the bridge between promise and manifestation. And now that bridge is fully built. As 11:55 p.m. approaches, guard your focus carefully. The final minutes before a breakthrough often come with distractions. Sudden negative thoughts, unexpected minor frustrations, random irritations that try to steal your attention. Do not take the bait. These are last attempts to pull your focus away from alignment. Stay centered. You do not need to force anything. You do not need to beg. You simply need to remain open and aware. There is also something else unfolding. When God gives you this one thing, it will not just satisfy your immediate need. It will silence a lingering insecurity that has followed you for a long time. That insecurity may have whispered, "Maybe I am not favored," or "Maybe others are chosen but not me." Tonight answers that lie permanently. You are chosen. And this happiness will feel different because it will not come from striving. It will come from grace. Archangel Michael is declaring that the cycle of almost is breaking. No more almost opportunities. No more almost related. No more always breakthroughs. What is arriving is complete. Oh, Zabel, take a moment and imagine yourself tomorrow morning, waking up with a lighter heart, speaking differently, thinking differently, expecting differently. That version of you is already forming. If this message is igniting faith in your spirit, do not keep it to yourself. Like this video so it reaches someone who is losing hope tonight. Share it with a friend who needs confirmation before their midnight hour. Comment your expectation boldly, because spoken faith carries power. Subscribe to this channel and become part of a community that stands firm in belief. When you engage, you are helping this word travel to someone who might be one message away from giving up. And listen closely to this. What unfolds next explains why the timing of 11:55 p.m. is not symbolic, but strategic. There is a deeper spiritual alignment connected to that minute, something tied to completion and transition that will make everything make sense. Keep your heart attentive. The revelation is about to deepen, and you will not want to miss what is coming into focus. Attentive heart. The reason 11:55 p.m. carries such spiritual intensity is because it represents the final stretch before completion. 5 minutes before a new hour begins. 5 minutes before transition. 5 minutes where everything still looks the same on the surface, yet a shift is seconds away. That is where you are standing right now in your life. For a long time, you have been living in the almost midnight season. So close to change, yet still surrounded by familiar circumstances. You sensed something was about to break open, but days passed and nothing visibly moved. That space between promise and fulfillment stretched your patience to its limits. But here is the revelation. The last 5 minutes before breakthrough often feel the longest. God says, do not mistake silence for inactivity. While you were waiting, He was aligning timelines. While you were doubting, He was softening hearts. While you were questioning, He was positioning you exactly where you needed to be for this moment. Archangel Michael stands at the edge of this transition, ensuring that what is meant for you cannot be intercepted. There were attempts to discourage you into walking away just before the shift. There were subtle invitations to settle for something less comfortable but smaller. There were voices suggesting that lowering your expectations would protect you from disappointment. But you resisted. Even when your faith was thin, you did not completely abandon it. That persistence matters now more than ever. The one thing God is giving you tonight is not simply an answer to a request. It is a confirmation of identity. It is proof that you are not overlooked, not forgotten, not delayed beyond recovery. It is heaven's way of saying, you are exactly where you are supposed to be. And as the clock moves closer to 11:55 p.m., something within you may feel like both nervousness and excitement. That is natural when destiny approaches. Change can feel uncomfortable even when it is positive. The unknown can feel intimidating even when it carries blessing. But do not let discomfort confuse you. Growth always stretches. There is also a spiritual law unfolding here. When God prepares to release a blessing, He often tests your posture one final time, not to disqualify you, but to strengthen your confidence. You may feel a last-minute wave of doubt, or a fleeting thought that says, what if this is not real? Recognize it for what it is. It is the final echo of an old season trying to hold on. That season is expiring. The happiness coming tonight will not be loud chaos. It will be grounded assurance. A shift that feels stable. A knowing that does not require external validation. And once you experience it, you will realize that all the waiting was refining you for this exact moment. You were not waiting for the blessing. The blessing was waiting for the right version of you. Archangel Michael is declaring clarity over your mind. You will not misinterpret this gift. You will not overlook it. You will recognize it when it arrives. It may come through a conversation that changes everything, a decision that finally aligns, an opportunity that opens effortlessly, or a peace that replaces years of internal tension. Pay attention to what feels aligned rather than dramatic. Divine moves are often subtle but powerful. And remember this, once the clock passes 11:55 p.m., you are stepping into a new hour not only on the clock, but in your life. The old narrative that said, maybe someday, will be replaced with, it has begun. The transition will not require you to chase. It will invite you to receive. Let gratitude rise in advance. Gratitude signals readiness. Say quietly within yourself, I am prepared for what you are giving me. A declaration shifts your internal atmosphere from waiting to welcoming. You are standing in sacred minutes. And what unfolds next will reveal why this blessing is connected not just to personal joy, but to influence beyond your current understanding. The story is widening. The assignment is expanding. The shift is closer than you realize. Awaken spirit. As this sacred night unfolds, you must now understand that the one thing God is giving you is not only about your personal happiness. It is about positioning. It is about elevation. It is about placing you where you were always meant to stand. For years, you may have felt hidden, overlooked, as if your gifts were unnoticed and your potential remained unseen. You questioned whether your efforts mattered. You wondered if your prayers were echoing into emptiness. But heaven was not ignoring you. Heaven was incubating you. God says, I was preparing you in private for what I am about to reveal in public. The happiness coming tonight is connected to exposure in the right way. Not exposure that embarrasses you, but exposure that elevates you. The kind that brings recognition, clarity, and rightful acknowledgement. Something about your life is stepping into the light. Archangel Michael stands as a guardian of that elevation. Because when God lifts someone, opposition often tries to question it. There may be people who doubted you, people who underestimated you, people who quietly assumed you would never reach this level of breakthrough. But this blessing is not about proving them wrong. It is about fulfilling what heaven already declared. Before 11:55 p.m., something internal will shift that prepares you for external recognition. You will begin to see yourself differently. The insecurity that once whispered will grow quieter. The hesitation that once delayed your decisions will weaken. Confidence will rise not from ego, but from assurance. And here is something important. The one thing you are receiving may also require responsibility. Blessings are beautiful, but they also carry stewardship. If God gives you influence, He expects wisdom. If He gives you opportunity, He expects courage. If He gives you restoration, He expects gratitude. This is why the preparation season was necessary. You are no longer the version of yourself who would misuse this moment. You are refined now, balanced, aware. Archangel Michael is declaring stability over your next step. You will not be overwhelmed by this blessing. You will grow into it naturally. What once seemed intimidating will soon feel fitting. As the final minutes approach, guard your heart against comparison. Your blessing does not need validation from anyone else's timeline. It does not need applause to be real. It is enough that God said it. The happiness coming tonight may manifest in a simple but powerful way. A confirmation that changes your direction. An open door that aligns perfectly. A restoration that brings closure to old pain. Or a clear instruction that removes confusion. Whatever form it takes, receive it without questioning your worthiness. Because this is not luck. This is divine orchestration. If this message is resonating deeply within you, seal it with faith. Type "I step into my elevation" in the comments if you feel this shift in your spirit. Blessing code 888 is now activated over your life. As this sacred activation settles in your heart, understand that elevation is never meant to be hoarded. When God lifts one person, it creates light for many others. If this word has strengthened you, become part of the river that carries it further. Sow into this mission through super thanks. Step into deeper alignment through membership. Or release your seed through the PayPal link in the description. God says, as you give, I will cause your storehouses to overflow. Hear that not as a distant verse, but as a living promise spoken directly to you. When you act in obedience, you participate in expansion. When you release generously, heaven responds generously. Let your support tonight be a prophetic declaration that you believe in multiplication. Do not hesitate when the Spirit nudges you. Move with confidence and watch how provision meets you. The hour is shifting. The elevation has begun. And what unfolds next will reveal how this blessing connects to a responsibility that stretches beyond what you initially imagined. The story is not only about receiving anymore. It is about becoming. Focus, soul. Now that you understand this blessing is connected to elevation, you must also recognize that elevation changes perspective. When God gives you that one thing tonight, it will not only affect what you have, it will affect how you see. For a long time, you viewed your life through the lens of limitation. You measured possibilities based on past disappointments. You calculated outcomes according to previous failures. Even your prayers were cautious. You hoped quietly so that if nothing happened, the disappointment would feel smaller. But tonight dismantles that mindset. God says, I am not just changing your situation. I am renewing your vision. The one thing you are receiving carries a shift in awareness. Suddenly, options that once seemed unrealistic will appear reachable. Doors that felt locked will seem approachable. Conversations that intimidated you will no longer hold the same power. Archangel Michael stands at this mental crossroads, ensuring that your thoughts align with your new level. Because if your mindset remains in the old season, you will struggle to fully enjoy the new one. This is why heaven is not only giving you happiness, it is giving you clarity. You may begin to notice that certain fears lose their grip. Situations that once triggered anxiety will feel manageable. Decisions that once felt overwhelming will feel guided. That is not coincidence. That is transformation. There's also something else unfolding. When God gives you this one thing, it will confirm that you were right to trust your inner conviction. There were moments when others doubted your direction. They questioned your patience. They suggested alternatives that did not sit well with your spirit. You listened respectfully, but deep inside you sensed a different path. Tonight validates that inner knowing. Archangel Michael hath been guarding that inner conviction from being crushed by external opinions. Because what God plants inside you often contradicts what the world expects. The delay you experienced was not denial. It was alignment. And now alignment is meeting manifestation. As 11:55 p.m. approaches, reflect on how far you have come emotionally. You are not as reactive as you used to be. You are not as desperate for approval. You are not as easily shaken by uncertainty. Growth happened quietly while you were waiting. And this is why the happiness arriving tonight will feel grounded rather than chaotic. It will not overwhelm you. It will fit you. But here is a deeper truth. His blessing is also removing a false narrative that followed you for years. A story that said you were always one step behind. That you missed your moment. That you were too late. Tonight erases that narrative permanently. God says, nothing about your journey was wasted. Even the setbacks trained you. Even the heartbreaks strengthened you. Even the silent seasons sharpened you. And now you stand ready. Archangel Michael is declaring authority over your next chapter. You will not shrink when opportunity expands. You will not sabotage when joy arrives. You will not doubt when confirmation comes. There may still be a quiet voice inside asking, is this really happening? Yes, it is. And the more you accept it without resistance, the smoother the transition becomes. The one thing you are receiving is not the final destination. It is the ignition point. It sparks momentum. Once it lands, other pieces will begin falling into place. Conversations will align. Resources will surface. Confidence will increase. But you must let yourself enjoy it. Do not rush past the happiness. Do not immediately shift into worry about what comes next. Stay present in the gift. Gratitude sustains what fear tries to disrupt. As the clock inches closer to that sacred minute, breathe deeply. Release the old lens. Embrace the new perspective. The hour turning on the clock symbolizes the hour turning in your life. And what unfolds next will reveal how this shift influences not just your personal story, but the people connected to you. Because this blessing carries ripple effects far beyond what you can currently see. Courageous believer, what is unfolding tonight is not confined to you alone. The one thing God is placing into your hands carries ripple effects. It touches your family. It influences your environment. It shifts the atmosphere around you. When heaven blesses one life intentionally, it often becomes the doorway for many others to step into hope. You may not realize how many people are watching your journey silently. Some admire your endurance. Some draw strength from your quiet resilience. Some are waiting to see if faith truly works. And tonight, when your happiness manifests, it will speak louder than any sermon. God says, your testimony will unlock courage in someone else. For a long time, you thought your waiting season was pointless. You questioned why your breakthrough seemed delayed compared to others. But what you did not see was that your perseverance was being observed. Your ability to stand without visible results was building credibility in the spiritual realm. Archangel Michael has been guarding not only your blessing, but your influence. Because influence without maturity can become unstable. But you have matured. You have learned humility through delay. You have learned gratitude through scarcity. You have learned patience through uncertainty. Now, when the one thing arrives, you will handle it with balance. There is also something important happening within your circle. Someone connected to you has been losing hope. They may not say it openly, but they are tired. Tired of praying without seeing results. Tired of trying without recognition. Your breakthrough will quietly restore their belief. It will remind them that God still moves. Before 11:55 p.m., prepare your heart not only to receive but to steward. Ask yourself how this blessing can create light beyond your own comfort. Because joy shared multiplies. You might notice that when the shift happens, conversations begin to change. Opportunities start appearing more frequently. Confidence radiates from you in subtle ways. People respond differently to you. That is elevation in motion. But remain grounded. Archangel Michael declares stability over your influence. You will not become distracted by applause. You will not measure your value by comparison. You will remember that the source of this blessing is divine alignment, not human validation. As this sacred moment draws closer, let gratitude overflow. Gratitude keeps your heart aligned with heaven's rhythm. Instead of asking, "What if it disappears?" begin saying, "Thank you for trusting me with this." And if this message has been strengthening your spirit, do not keep it private. Like this video so that someone on the edge of giving up can encounter hope tonight. Share it with a friend who needs confirmation before their own midnight hour. Comment your declaration boldly, because spoken faith creates atmosphere. Subscribe to this channel and stand with a community that believes in divine timing. Your engagement is not ordinary interaction. It is participation in spreading encouragement across borders. Stay with this revelation, because what comes next ties everything together in a way you may not expect. The reason 11:55 p.m. was highlighted. The reason your waiting season stretched. The reason Archangel Michael has been mentioned throughout this message. It all connects to a final unveiling that seals this night as more than a blessing, and becomes a covenant moment. Hold your focus steady. The conclusion will reveal why this opportunity could not have arrived at any other time. And when you see the full picture, you will understand that tonight was written into your destiny long before you ever prayed for it. Devoted heart, now we arrive at the deeper layer of this night. Everything has been building toward this understanding. The reason 11:55 p.m. carries such urgency is because it symbolizes completion before transition. It is the final confirmation before the page turns. And heaven does not highlight moments without purpose. For years, you have been walking through cycles. Some beautiful, some painful, some confusing. Yet all of them were shaping you for a defining shift. Tonight is not simply about receiving one thing. It is about closing an era that tried to define you by delay. God says, the waiting season does not own your identity. You may have labeled yourself based on what did not happen. The opportunity that slipped away. The relationship that ended. The door that closed unexpectedly. Over time, those experiences tried to create a narrative that said you were behind, overlooked, or forgotten. But heaven never wrote that story. Archangel Michael has been guarding the truth of who you are even when you questioned it. There were spiritual battles around your identity. Subtle lies suggesting that maybe you were not as favored as others. That perhaps your faith was insufficient. That maybe you missed your divine moment. Those thoughts were not revelations. They were resistance. Tonight dismantles that resistance completely. When God gives you that one thing, it becomes evidence that nothing was lost. Timing was not wasted. Detours were not disasters. They were divine positioning. What felt like being held back was actually being aligned. This is why the blessing carries such emotional weight. It answers more than a surface desire. It addresses a hidden question you carried. Am I truly seen by God? And the answer arrives not as a whisper, but as a manifested gift. Before 11:55 p.m., allow yourself to release the old label you placed on your life. Release the word delayed. Release the word overlooked. Release the word almost. Those labels expire tonight. You are not stepping into a temporary high. You are stepping into confirmation. Archangel Michael declares authority over the next chapter of your life. No interference will override what heaven has approved. No doubt will overshadow what hath been sealed. No past disappointment will contaminate this new beginning. Here is also something symbolic about 5 minutes before midnight. It is the moment where most people assume nothing significant can happen because the day is nearly over. But heaven often moves at the edge of what seems too late. God says, I am the master of last-minute miracles. This is why your story will not look ordinary. This is why your breakthrough arrives in a way that surprises you. Because it proves that divine timing is not limited by human expectations. As the minute approaches, stay attentive. Not anxious, but aware. The shift may not be loud, but it will be undeniable. A conversation that changes direction. A message that brings clarity. An opportunity that opens naturally. Or a deep internal peace that confirms alignment. Do not rush past it. Let it settle. Once the clock turns, you will sense that something irreversible has happened. Even if external evidence unfolds gradually, the internal certainty will be immediate. You will wake up different. You will speak differently. You will carry yourself differently. Because once heaven confirms you, insecurity loses its grip. And here is the final understanding before the unveiling. This moment was not triggered by desperation. It was triggered by readiness. God waited until your heart could handle what your hands are about to receive. The story is reaching its climax. The final revelation will seal this night not only as a blessing, but as a covenant between you and your calling. Prepare your spirit. The last declaration will bring everything together and anchor this moment permanently in your life. Chosen one of God, this is the sealing of the night. Everything spoken, everything stirred in your spirit, everything you have felt building inside you now comes into alignment. The clock approaching 11:55 p.m. was never about fear. It was about focus. It was heaven's way of telling you, pay attention. This is sacred. Tonight is your confirmation. God says, I am giving you that one thing because you are ready to carry it. Not because you begged enough. Not because you proved yourself to people. Not because you were perfect. But because you matured. You endured. You trusted even when clarity was missing. This is a covenant moment. When the minute turns, you are not just stepping into happiness. You are stepping into agreement with heaven. Agreement that you will no longer see yourself as delayed. Agreement that you will no longer shrink your expectations. Agreement that you will walk boldly in what God places in your hands. Archangel Michael stands as witness to this covenant. Protection surrounds this blessing. Interference hath been denied access. What is being released is secured. For some of you, the manifestation begins instantly. For others, tonight marks the spiritual authorization and the physical evidence unfolds step by step. But do not misunderstand the timing. Authorization in the spirit is just as real as manifestation in the physical. You will sense it. A peace that replaces pressure. A confidence that replaces confusion. A clarity that replaces chaos. And when it settles in your heart, you will know this was the night everything shifted, Remember this forever. You were never behind. You were being prepared. You were never overlooked. You were being refined. You were never forgotten. You were being positioned. God says, "What I give you now will not be taken away." That one thing you cried about. That one thing you almost stopped believing for. That one thing you thought might never happen. It is no longer distant. It is aligned. And here is the final truth. This blessing is not the end of your journey. It is the ignition of your calling. Because once you taste confirmation, you will never settle for doubt again. Once you experience divine timing, you will never rush ahead in fear again. Archangel Michael declares victory over your new chapter. Walk into it without hesitation. Now seal this moment with faith. Type "IT is done" in the comments if you receive this covenant in your spirit. Blessing code 1155-12 is now activated over your life. And as this sacred word completes its assignment in your heart, hear this clearly. When God releases something powerful, it must be carried further. If this message awakened you, strengthened you, or confirmed you, then this is your moment to act in alignment. Sow into this mission through super thanks. Step into deeper partnership through membership. Release your seed through the PayPal link placed in the description. The Lord declares, "When you honor my work, I will honor your house." As you give, you are not supporting a platform. You are advancing light into homes that are still waiting for hope. Let your offering tonight be prophetic. Let it be a response, not a reaction. Move quickly and decisively as the Spirit leads you. Those who sow into this ground will reap in their own midnight hour. Step forward now. Seal it with action.